Turbo! Turbo Zone!
Yo, welcome back to the Turbo Zone.
Welcome back, Teddy
We,
Kong and Alex Frick in the
we,
Skype chat.
yeah, we have Teddy here. Hey, Teddy.
Oh, hey, Alex.
Kind of missed you.
Yeah, I didn't see you there.
So we're here to talk about the platformers.
Yeah. Well, that's a topic we've been stumbling on for quite some time.
Yeah. I see. I remember once we started doing these like discussion type videos, we always wanted to do something with
Yeah.
platform, but we couldn't figure out what we want to do with it.
I think that time has come.
It
We
is.
have uh, we have found a topic, and it's quite the controversial one indeed. Wouldn't you say so yourself, Alex?
I would say so. Yeah.
All right. So, the question: platformers, are they getting stale? Well,
Are your
first off,
platform stale?
yeah. First off, what kind of brings up this question? Why is this relevant today?
Especially because of the big boom in the indie scene
Right.
of 2D platformers has happened in the past. I would say past 5 or 6 years. Um,
Yeah, that's true. I mean, a lot of a lot of indies have been kind of bursting the market with it, and then for a while there, in the early 2000s, I'd say the 2D platformer had kind of died off, and 3D
oh
kind of
yeah.
just disappeared as well. Somehow this resurgence brought popularity back to the 2D platformer, and since then we have seen the scene just burst and burgeon beyond imagination. And I think this is good and bad. So, as for the question, have platformers become stale? It feels like it. How do you feel about that?
Before I go any further, I want to go ahead and just throw out there that no matter what side I take here, I'm going to say that like there's been some really good platformers that come out in the past few years.
Okay.
Either way, but I feel like yeah, I would. You know what? I'm actually going to actually kind of agree with you on this.
hmm
Is that yeah, they have grown kind of stale.
It's hard to just say that the genre is stale, but that's inevitably what happened
Yeah, I,
with the burgeoning.
yeah. It's weird to like pinpoint what exactly makes this makes you feel this way. What exactly. Um, but we were kind of talking about this, but I think it has to do a lot with style over substance.
Sure.
Um, and platformers. I don't know where what you like. Do you know what exactly makes you feel that way?
It's tough. I mean, I just sat down. I played some Super Mario 3D Land on my 3DS, and that's hard to say because that's a 3D platformer. But it just didn't have that same charm. Like it looked great, and I mean the music's great, the levels are great. I mean, on paper it's just great. But then I just kind of lost my interest, and it just felt kind of awkward. So I went and I played some Kirby's Dream Land for the Game Boy, and I just had so much fun. I played it right through to the end. I don't know what it is exactly, but I feel like when platformers first established themselves, they had more of a distinct identity and they felt like, fully finished products. Nowadays, it's like, they're finished, but are they complete? Are they really hardy by the end of the game and you felt like, wow, that was something that's really that. Like that's what that is.
Well, yeah. I mean, here's a good example. Say you watch a review of any platformer that's come out in recent years. I'm going to bet you that most of those reviewers are going to say, "Hey, this game feels kind of like like Metroid, Mega Man, Castlevania." They're always going to, like going to compare it to the classics because the classics kind of established that formula and kind of set that kind of ground, and it's really hard to break from that.
Sure, I mean that's 100% a factor, but at the same time, how is it that some of those classics still hold up while these new games just come and go? How are some of these games timeless? And then you play like a modern game, and it's like, oh yeah, that was something.
That was a game.
It was a game. And now
Yeah,
it's
I feel that a lot. You know what though? Because that's a hard question to answer, man. It's
you
really
said
hard
it
to
yourself, style over substance. I mean,
style of substance.
you
Which we were
know,
talking about this earlier.
this is
Uh,
the modern gaming generation, so there are standards that games and developers feel they have to naturally uphold, that they have to abide by these in order to hit that market. Do you think that maybe gearing towards a certain contemporary market is making these games a bit more safe? They play it safe, like they have to hit the same nails in order to achieve the sales.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. I mean, but most genres have that problem, and anyway.
Yeah.
Which I kind of said it earlier. Like comparing platformers nowadays to to like first-person shooters really aren't that hard
Mm-hmm.
because they're both kind of falling into the same trends now.
Mm-hmm.
And we're kind of buying the same things over and over and over. So,
What do you think are some qualities that make the game stale, like the nowadays games?
I would say definitely, like, okay, here's the thing. Take Mario 3D Land, for example,
Okay.
for this, little example I have here. A lack of progression. Whenever you play Mario 3D Land and you go level to level, they kind of feel incoherent. Like it kind of like doesn't matter what order these levels are in, going from one to the other. Whenever playing like an older platformer game that had that kind of feel, kind of, I don't know, like levels kind of mesh together
Mm-hmm.
better. I don't know. That's weird.
I think that goes back to the identity factor.
Uh-huh.
Does this game feel like it's fully fleshed out, like it's everything synchronous, or does it feel all over the place? And I mean, that happens. I think, when I look at the stale qualities, or what I consider stale, I see it from a more mechanical perspective. I see games borrowing frameworks such as jumping from foreground to background. You see this in the Donkey Kong Country. You see this in a lot of those Renegade Kid games. Even some of those games, I know you like this one, the Mighty Switch Force.
Ooh,
Uh,
that's a good game.
and as good as it may be, it does borrow a lot of the same elements. So, to what effect are these games, playing on an established formula, and is that even hurting them in the second place? I think that maybe it can be good and bad. It's okay to borrow a framework as long as your game says I'm doing this my way. That was your way, and that you're not really just stealing the game.
Yeah. Well, like take for example, we should talk about this Shovel Knight,
Mm-hmm.
which we already kind of like we talked earlier, and it's really hard to say anything bad about Shovel Knight,
You're not
but
allowed.
it definitely does that. It definitely says here I'm borrowing framework from Mega Man, I'm borrowing framework from Castlevania, blah blah blah,
Mm-hmm.
but it's doing it in its own way. And
Yes.
it's still I don't know, and like it's a wonderful game. It's probably one of the best platformers to come out in years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's one of the instances where it's okay to borrow that framework, because that's a love letter to a almost dead genre at this point, which is the brutal platformer. But again, brutal platformer. How often do you see a game where it's all about 6 million ways to die? Like you could
Uh,
die at this point and this point and this point. It's just
yeah.
like they're really trying to get you. That's a genre like the deadly platformer. I feel has
Well,
been played to death.
oh man, well, because like the deadly platformer, in my honest opinion, I never really got behind.
Hmm.
I kind of I reviewed the Angry Video Game Nerd
Yes.
one a while back, which I did enjoy it.
Hmm.
But I feel like that genre doesn't really get the essence of old school platformers. That like the difficulty wasn't the key factor that made the game good. It was just a feature.
Hmm.
And and they kind of take the like that one small feature and make it the game,
Hmm.
and it kind of just falls apart from there.
I know what you're saying. I'm not a big fan of the deadly platformer either, but it seems that it's happened to reach another kind of popular point where a lot of developers are making these kind of games. I think 1,001 Spikes and Super Meat Boy. I know you get behind that game, and it looks
Yeah,
fun.
well, like that game. Yes, it is about difficulty, but I don't think it's unfair because there's a difference between being being fair and being unfair, and
Sure.
it's very easy to judge that once you play a game, and so
Hmm.
yeah.
So, what do you think some steps the developers of said platformers can take to remedy this sense of repetition between games?
Hmm. You know what? Because okay, for one, but like before we lay any of this out, I want to go ahead and say that I'm not even close to being any type of game developer, and I'm not
Oh, oh no,
gonna.
that's fine. I mean, it's just in your honest opinion, like what are some steps that they could do to just not make it feel like every platformer is the same platformer we
um,
felt, that we played?
it's hard for me to say. You know what platformer series doesn't feel like every other platformer series?
What's that?
Bit Trip,
Hmm.
like the Bit Trip Runner games.
Okay.
Those games are fantastic and they're really original. And I don't know, I don't know how exactly they like captured that like magic, but they have their own thing going on there.
Yeah.
and it's really original.
It's a
Um,
shame that it's hasn't seen more attention. It's just it's so different, right? It's got
uh,
style. It's like it's more like a runner, I guess.
yeah,
Um,
it's called Bit Trip Runner, but it's still
yeah,
a type of platformer though.
that's true. But the runner is like a different kind of genre now too.
I guess.
I
Yeah,
guess too.
that's
But
true.
but at the same time, it does feel like a platform. It is a platformer. That's where it got its roots. But it's an evolution of it. So it's doing something not necessarily that's innovative, but that it's progressed from the typical trope that we might come to see and expect from a lot of platformers today. I think
But
that's a good direction to take. I mean, go ahead.
like I'm gonna like kind of approach your question with kind of like how I would develop a platformer.
Sure.
And how I would do it is I want to like say I want to make a game. I had a big team, everything. I would want to make sure that I keep in mind like I use the mindset of like this could be somebody's first game.
Uh-huh.
Like yeah, and like that's how I would approach the whole game. Kind of like this could be somebody's first game. So how would it feel to them? How would it you know kind of kind of I don't know, kind of go from there. I don't know. And
Have you ever thought about being a game developer?
me?
Because you should.
I mean, I have, but I'm not
No,
right
that's
now.
that's a great approach to take. You should care about your end product. That you should treat it like this could change someone's life. And I know people like to look at video games like, oh, well, that's just something you do when when
It's
you
just
got
your
nothing
Flappy
else to
Bird and
do.
stuff. You play a Flappy Bird. And
Yeah, that too, Flappy Birds. But yeah, that's important is to care about the quality of your product. And I'm not trying to say that it's all corrupt nowadays and it's all about the capital gains. But
but I mean, when Konami is making pachinko machines,
okay,
it
yeah.
is. But let's get off it.
They
Sorry,
don't have pachinko platformers.
sorry. I was just kind of had to bust in there for a second.
I'm
There you
joking too.
go.
So, I think it's an unfortunate side of the times that platformers have felt that the whole genre has felt overcome. And that has inevitably led to a lot of them feeling very similar and a lot of them uninspired almost in a way.
Uh-huh. No,
Uh, Go
sorry,
ahead. No,
sorry.
please.
No, man. You already started. You already started. Go, go.
I was hoping to lead you into it. um, but at the same time, there is still room for the good ones to shine. I just want to see it kind of die off now. I feel like a lot of people are starting to feel sick of it too.
Now, now with that, do you mean both 2D and 3D? Because I'm feeling mainly 2D. Like I think 2D platformers should go
Oh,
away
I
for me.
thought that's all we were
But
talking about. 3D.
yeah, well, I mean,
Bring it in.
we kind of mentioned 3D Land a little bit.
Yeah,
And that is a 3D platformer.
that is true.
So I feel like 3D has not reached its full potential.
No, and Ukulele shows that.
Yeah.
That one got kickstarted in a day or two. So, I mean, there's a sign to make these games and not just Mario ones because the ukulele, the Banjo-Kazooies, those are 3D platformers with heart.
Yeah.
They have that sense of like, not I don't want to say cute, but like, charm. Charm
Yeah.
behind characters, dialogue, everything, move sets, it's all different, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, that, and it's much easier to take a 3D platformer in its own direction. Take for example, which it's coming out in April, that new Ratchet and Clank game,
Hmm.
which I love that series. I don't, I know that you don't really know much about the series, but I love Ratchet and Clank, and that series is like a hybrid of like 3D platformers and like first-person shooters almost,
Hmm.
and it works really well. And like even that, I'm like not even tired of that yet. So,
Hmm. So, I mean, we do have good things to look forward to. It's a shame we can't seem to replicate the good old days, right?
yeah,
But there is still good to look forward to. We can only hope that it's not going to continue to just be style again over
yeah,
substance. I think that's the
yeah,
takeaway point here.
yeah. I mean, because then they'll revive something else, and it'll just happen again and again and again.
Although I'm not opposed to more Spyro.
More Spyro the Dragon. Man, he's in Skylanders. There you go.
Oh,
Right?
well, that's not more Spyro.
There he is.
What do
He's
you
there.
mean? What do you say? How about Jack? You seen Jack?
Oh man, I love Jack.
You gotta
But
love
no,
Jack.
no, Jack died.
Oh, why'd he die? You,
They brought
you went too
they
young,
brought
Jack.
they brought Sly Cooper back for a little bit.
All right, yeah.
For like a game, and I think he's getting a movie.
How about Psychonauts? I heard
Ooh, I love Psychonauts.
that's
Yeah,
getting something.
yeah, that's getting a sequel.
Yeah.
That's exciting. But that was also Kickstarter. So,
Wonder Boy. Wonder Boy's coming back.
oh yeah, Wonder Boy is coming back. Oh man,
That's getting
that
console
that
release
gets me
too.
excited. That
Yeah,
gets me excited.
yeah. So actually, we do have quite a bit to look forward to. Um, Somehow, I think that little phase might have died off as we were recording this. But we got our fingers crossed. Platformers have good days ahead of them. I still suck at them, but I love them anyway.
I mean, they're fun.
Yeah, they are. Good times. So, with that, Turbo Zone back in effect. Hope you enjoyed the discussion. Let us know what you think of the 2D platformer craze, or are we crazed?
Yeah, tell us some of your favorite new platforms. Maybe there's some hidden gems we haven't really seen yet.
Yeah,
Maybe there's something
absolutely.
cool out there. Yeah. So,
Turbo Zone, it's been real. See you in the next video.
see you next zone.
Turbo Zone